What's up, guys? Went top 3 at Rarity Collection 5 playmat tournament. I played Artmage branded. It's a very good deck, especially because you have the branded engine, and then the Artmage stuff also kind of carries. So on their own, they can handle the current meta, and then together you just have so much interruption, and there's ways to bait out hand trap and all that. But you got to know your locks. Whether lock yourself into fusions or lock yourself in or do the synchro line with branded. There are very few bridges. You can go into branded into Artmage, but you can't go Artmage to branded. So we'll talk about them a little bit more, but yeah, we'll go into the deck profile. 2 minutes appears. I don't run 3 because it's bricky on themselves. If you draw into all 3, you can't really do anything. So yeah, Metis appear, have to. 1 Power Patron. This one, I hate this card because when I was running 2, I would always just draw into it, and you can't really do much with that. So I know with you could do non-finito line with this, but it's very, I don't like that line too much. But yeah, so I just ran 1. I found ways to recycle this card with Litra or the branded cards. So and then you can use this as a target for Ilya Sylvia if you use the spell, but we'll get that when we get there. Finmill and Grappler, 1-0s, they're good cards. I just don't think that I need to run multiples of them. I do run multiples of the Literos because you can normal summon this if you draw into both, and then if for whatever reason you have a spell engrave, or you could get a spell engrave, Artmage spell, you could go Litera on top of your normal summon of Litera to special summon it and add back. Very few times when I've done that, but yeah, I have this for the grand game too. Alterations. I mean, it is what it is. This card helped me in my last match delay them from killing me. I was at 1,000 attack, and the Actorist brings out 2 bodies when they kill it, and then I negated the attack on the Power Patron, and saved me that last tournament. I could have lost that last game. But Acropolis 2. I've never needed to run 3. I think with 2 it's fine. There's times when I side this out too, going first or second. First. But next is the Assault, Succession, and Awakening. The thing about Awakening is that you can use this as a branded Lost replacement. And especially with this deck, it's a lot more powerful because now you have the Artmage and the branded stuff. But you can use it both ways. A lot of people throw this in the grave, but the branded Lost effect, especially in this deck, is really good because if you can revive your Fallen Valvez with the branded engine, then they can negate it. That's a super poly right there. Fallen Valvez got the 3 lineup. Crazy card, baits out hand traps and everything. Fallen Valvez on their turn, super poly. It's just I think it's standard. 1 Quem, 1 Cartesia, and 1 Ecclesia. Quem Cartesia, all 3 you can use for Ilya Sylvia instead of having to use your Litera if you only have 1 Litera. Because if you use the Litera, you won't have any grand game, right? So you can use this, and on top of it, right, you use this for fusion material, you don't use it, lose it. And then phase, if you use the Ilya Sylvia to tribute, or you send another monster to grave, which, I mean, you will, another fusion, these add back. So it's kind of like crazy father, crazy card economy. And then if you run Guardian Chimera with this, if you have these 2 in hand because you added it back, on their turn, right, you go Succession or whatever fusion effect you can use. Succession, Army Succession, use body on field. These 2, you get to draw 2, pop 1 card, and then end phase, these 2 come back, right, if you send a fusion to grave. But yeah, Alibers, 3 Alibers. This card's bricky for me sometimes, well, most of the time. My last turn, we got into a grand game and I drew into all 3 of these my first turn. It's cool because like now there's a different way to play Aliber, which I have 1 branded fusion and 1 branded high spirits. This card paired with like you know, Medius or, you know, your normal branded stuff, you know, you reveal a card, send it to the grave. It sets up for your Fallen or Virtuous quick plays, or it just gets Medius into its grave so you can use its revive effect. Branded Fusion locks you onto infusions. There's a few times when I use this so I can go into the fusion to go into Artmage. But like I said, most of the time it's you gotta know when to play your locks, because this one doesn't block you out of fusions, but this one does. But there are times when you do need to use branded fusion to get the bodies. But yeah, so that's branded fusion. 3 Fallen Virtuoses, crazy card. It's good also because if you have Power Patron on field, if it gets negated for the fuse effect, you could use this to pop and then keep your resources going. Yeah, Fallen Virtues is good. For hand traps, I have 1 Sorneer, 1 Magnemite. These are mostly for targets to search. So I could go Sorneer, dump branded high spirits, end phase, branded high spirits come back on their turn, right? And then Magnemite, this lets me search Flare or the Fallen Velbas. So, you know, they help. 3 Perulius, pretty standard. I mean, right now in the current meta. 3 Ash Blossoms. It's Ash. And then my non-engine, 2 Super Polys and 1 Called By. Super Poly, because you're playing kind of like a board breaking deck. So, I could put this up to 3. But like, what's cool about Super Poly is that like if you draw into this, you can set it. For whatever reason, you go through your branded stuff, you could get Cartesian back and Ecclesia, and you have discard fodder for this, or if you have a Power Patron. But yeah, so pretty cool. For extra deck, Mirror Jade. Just, I mean, it's Mirror Jade, right? You know, I'm pretty sure everybody pretty much knows. I just picked up the Starlight too, so looks nice. Dragon Devour's Dogma. This you can use Succession, Artmage Succession, right? If you have Fallen Albans in hand or whatever, you can go Succession, you use, you know, your Artmage cards or whatever, and go into Dragon Devour's Dogma. Because you use Succession, this will gain 3,500, plus if you have an Ecclesia, it's 4,000. It's a 4,000 body. It's a way to kill Lunalight. It's a way to kill, you know, just have a big towers on field. And then you can recycle cards. So like, this is where I tell you, like, you can recycle Power Patron, or just other key cards that you need from Artmage that, you know, you wouldn't be able to just with pure. Rinbrum, for Fallen Albans on their turn. 1 Grag Wignall. Very few times when I've used this, but this does let me extend into the Quem line. And then that gets me the Fallen Albans. Or there's times when I brought out Aliber to give me, you know, fodder for the next turn on their turn. Albion, sets up brand Pollen Virtuous. Lubellion, this is more for the branded fusion line, because this is what you use to go into Medius, Fallen Albas. You pitch, you use this to go into Mirror Jade, and then you use the body of use Medius Engrave to recycle card, and you can bring it out. 1 Ecclesia, because you're playing the Synchro line. You know, this card's just crazy on its own. 1 Chaos Angel, there's a couple times when you can use this to, you know, with the cards. So like, we have Garura. So we used Garura one time. I used Super Poly Garura, normal summon Aliber, got my branded stuff, and I needed the draw effect. So I was able to go into Chaos Angel. Granted, you won't have the light effect, but with Garura going to grave, you get a draw, and because you're running so much engine, it's just you probably draw into one of your engine cards. So yeah, and then because you're running 2 Literas, you can use this and Finmill to go into a light unaffected Chaos Angel. Azamina Sylvia. You can use this if you have non-finito on some of your like Cartesia or whatever on field, Ecclesia. You can use instead of using your Lyra and have no grand game, you can use you know, the branded cards with this, and then you get them recycled back, so it's card economy. One Mod Dragon, Super Poly target. And then for the Artmage stuff, 2 Deactresses and 1 non-finito, 1 Nerva. Nerva's good because of the tribute effect. There's a few times when I use the board wipe effect, but I mostly use it for the tribute effect to kind of thin out the field. But yeah, I don't think I need to really explain on the any other stuff. And then for the side deck, I have 2 Nibs. I mean, it's Nib. Nib's pretty good in this format right now. 3 Retaliating Seas, mostly for branded Draco Tail. I know this kind of messes me up, but there's it doesn't really affect Artmage. That's why I say like you can play one engine or play both. And they both handle well into the meta. 3 Ghost Bells, 3 full wall losses. I mean, they're full wall loss. And then I had 3 other spawns that I wanted to kind of test out with in my side deck, and I had Guardian Chimera, Titanic Lad, and Avalonidas. The reason I side out Guardian Chimera, even though I mentioned about the whole card economy thing with the cards, is that I think there was more ways that I can use this turn 1. Or my bad, there's other cards in the extra deck that I have that provide more if I go first or second, right? Depending on die roll. So I kind of use this. I sign this in out when it's like cards that or when I'm playing against a deck that really loses to a lot of popping, if that makes sense. So like, you know, Yummy, I can pop a card on their turn or whatever. Avalonidas is here for branded Dracotail. The deck can play pretty good again into that lineup without this. But I just have this going in second if I'm playing against branded Dracotail. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll put this in, set the Fallen Albaz, and then just tribute the whole board. Titanic Lad, I didn't use this once. I'm gonna probably sort this out. But I've seen little niche interactions with this. But I really haven't needed anything using this card. But yeah, so that's my branded Artmage deck profile. Like I said, you gotta know your locks. You gotta know how to play the deck. I'm not saying it's you know, best deck or whatever, but it's just so much gas and so many paths that you can play with the deck that it's kind of hard for the opponent to stop. But yeah, so thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video.